So, when proponents of net neutrality talk about the consequences that will inevitably come to fruition upon its death, this is how FCC Chairman Ajit Pai describes our warnings.
Hyperbolic reactions.
Hyperbolic reactions. So, presumably, what Ajit Pai is implying here is that we're being hyperbolic because we don't fully understand what a repeal of net neutrality would entail. However, unfortunately for Ajit Pai, people that understand the internet the most decided to speak out. And can you guess whose side they took? They took our side. So 20 internet moguls and internet pioneers, people who literally invented the internet, actually penned an open letter to some of the most important politicians in the House and the Senate that serve in committees that actually oversee the internet and technology. And this letter is titled, "Internet Pioneers and Leaders Tell the FCC You Don't Understand How the Internet Works. Internet creators and leading figures ask the FCC to cancel its vote repealing net neutrality protections." Now, before I read you the letter, I actually want to tell you who signed this letter, because these people are incredibly important. So among these individuals includes Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web, Vinton G. Cerf, the father of the internet, Whitfield Diffie, who is the inventor of public key cryptography, Brewster Kahle, one of the internet's founders, Susan Landau, a cybersecurity expert, Theodore Holm Nelson, one of the pioneers of hypertext, Jennifer Rexford, the chair of computer science at Princeton University. We have Ronald L. Rivest, who co-invented RSA, and Steve Wozniak, the founder of Apple, among other people. And let me remind you that the internet wouldn't exist had it not been for these people and their brilliance. So this is the letter that they sent to these members of Congress, and what they say is more important than anyone else, because there's nobody that understands the internet more than these people. So their letter states, "We are the pioneers and technologists who created and now operate the internet, and some of the innovators and business people who, like many others, depend on it for our livelihood. We are writing to respectfully urge you to call on FCC Chairman Ajit Pai to cancel the December 14th vote on the FCC's proposed Restoring Internet Freedom Order. This proposed order would repeal key network neutrality protections that prevent internet access providers from blocking content, websites, and applications, slowing or speeding up services or classes of service, and charging online services for access or fast lanes to internet access providers' customers. The proposed order would also repeal oversight over other unreasonable discrimination and unreasonable practices, and over interconnection with last-mile internet access providers. The proposed order removes long-standing FCC oversight over internet access providers without an adequate replacement to protect consumers, free markets, and online innovation. It is important to understand that the FCC's proposed order is based on a flawed and factually inaccurate understanding of internet technology. These flaws and inaccuracies were documented in detail in a 43-page-long joint comment signed by over 200 of the most prominent internet pioneers and engineers and submitted to the FCC on July 17th of 2017. Despite this comment, the FCC did not correct its misunderstandings, but instead premised the proposed order on the very technical flaws the comment explained. The technically incorrect proposed order dismantles 15 years of targeted oversight from both Republican and Democratic FCC chairs, who understood the threats that internet access providers could pose to open markets on the internet. The experts' comment was not the only one the FCC ignored. Over 23 million comments have been submitted by a public that is clearly passionate about protecting the internet. The FCC could not possibly have considered these adequately. Indeed, breaking with established practice, the FCC has not held a single open public meeting to hear from citizens and experts about the proposed order. Furthermore, the FCC's online comment system has been plagued by major problems that the FCC has not had time to investigate. These include bot-generated comments that impersonated Americans, including dead people, and an unexplained outage of the FCC's online comment system that occurred at the very moment TV host John Oliver was encouraging Americans to submit comments to the system. Compounding our concern, the FCC has failed to respond to the Freedom of Information Act requests about these incidents and failed to provide information to a New York State Attorney General's investigation of them. We therefore call on you to urge FCC Chairman Pai to cancel the FCC's vote. The FCC's rushed and technically incorrect incorrect proposed order to abolish net neutrality protections without any replacement is an imminent threat to the internet we worked so hard to create. It should be stopped. So that right there should tell you everything you need to know about net neutrality. If the FCC doesn't want to listen to normal Americans like myself, if they don't want to listen to internet companies, the hundreds of which that have called on them to not go through with this repeal of net neutrality, if they don't want to listen to tech entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley, then they should listen to these people because they created the internet. But do I think this will have any influence on the FCC's decision to kill net neutrality? Of course not. So this is going to have absolutely no impact whatsoever, when really it's outrageous that it's not going to have an impact, because these are people who came together to create the World Wide Web, and they are instrumental in different technologies on the internet because of their brilliance, and they're being ignored as well. This isn't about, innovation. This isn't about, technology. This is all about increasing the wallets of Verizon's executives. And Ajit Pai wants a piece of that pie as soon as he goes back to work for Verizon when he leaves the FCC. That's exactly what this is about. So I'm incredibly thankful to all of these individuals that decided to call on Congress to stop Ajit Pai, but unfortunately, I don't think that, this letter is going to have any impact on the FCC's decision.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.